Hey guys, so here I am again with another Escalation Tier 10 run, a commented run. This time is gonna be on Maining National Zoo. Already tried to do a run on this mission, but I died right at the end. So here's my second attempt trying to record this mission, so wish me luck. Here's a quick look at the build that I'm going to be using. MK46, God Roll, Critical Hit Chance, Frenzy, and Critical Hit Damage mods, Agitator, Quick Step, 4 Striker pieces, all with Critical Hit Damage, and with the backpack and the chest piece. There we go. Sheska knee pads, almost God Roll, and Exodus gloves. And I'm going to be using the uh, year the year 8 season 1 modifier with optimize overload and this passive modifier right here for this amount of stacks. So yeah, gonna be hitting for around this amount of critical hit damage and this amount of full weapon damage and LMG damage. So yeah, let's go. Mhm. So for this first part, we're gonna be throwing an overcharge decoy right at the middle. We gotta make sure that, alright, I already screwed up. I should be overcharging and then make sure that the decoy hits the ground right after. Otherwise, I'm gonna be getting a tier 0 decoy, or at least the duration of that tier of decoy. So yeah, pretty much doesn't last anything, and yeah. If you overcharge the decoy right before you throw it though, you get the max duration with the current yearly modifier. So yep. This first wave of enemies is not that hard, and for the next part, we're gonna be climbing right over here, and we're gonna throw a decoy right on the lower floor, doesn't matter where, and we're gonna be taking care of all the enemy waves from over here. There should be 3 enemy waves. That's the second one, and I believe there's tier 1 right after this one. You gotta be careful with the LMG, guys, because that's the most dangerous archetype from the Outcast. So yeah, they tend to ignore the decoys that you throw at, and you cannot suppress them with the LMG, unlike all the other enemy archetypes. So you gotta be careful with that. Hopefully that's the last enemy. So there's that. Let me grab my prototypes, and we can keep going on the mission. There's another prototype, and there we go. So yeah, already done this mission a few times. I'll say the two worst parts about this mission is both the length and that two of the name enemies have a ton of armor plate held. So you pretty much are forced to use the Revenants at least for one of those bosses. So yeah, I'm gonna be showing you that strat as soon as we get with that enemy. So for this room, I'm gonna be hiding right behind these columns, and the first wave of enemies is gonna be coming from that door to the right. So yeah, gotta make sure that I take care of most of them. And right as you are killing the last enemies from the first wave, you're gonna have an extra wave of enemies spawn right below you. So we need to take care of them. The boss already spawned, the first one from this mission, so gotta be careful with that. Gonna fall back to this room. I don't feel comfortable going down. And gonna throw a decoy right over here. Can get a good line of sight with the boss. With the LMG guy, I meant. Ooh, that's not good. There we go. This is the first time that I got pushed over this room by the name enemy. Gotta be careful. Alright, so gonna throw a grenade over there, and that should stop it for a bit. Also, one good thing about the modifier is that if you have the overcharge effect active, as you have a hive as you drop the hive when you die, you essentially get a short cooldown for the hive, like a 50-second one. I think you guys already know that trick from all of my runs. So, yep, there's the name enemy. I just need to take care of that LMG guy, and that should be the last enemy on this room. There we go. So, I'm gonna grab all my prototypes, and I can go to the next room. So yeah, while I'm getting to the next room, thank you guys for the, I believe was 12k views for the Wall Street commented run. I wasn't expecting to getting that many views on that video, so yeah, I definitely want to do more of these videos, both doing some of the harder escalation missions and also just doing more commented runs, especially some of the most recent comments that I have received on my last videos. So yeah, keep a lookout for all of my next videos. So for this part, I'm gonna throw an overcharge decoy right by the submarine, and I'm gonna be hiding behind this piece of cover, and that way I can focus my fire on the LMG guy. If I shoot at their backpack, they pretty much stay completely frozen on place for like 10 seconds, I think. It's a pretty good strat to use for high tier escalations. That's pretty much the only way that you can stop them in their tracks. So there's gotta be another enemy spawn, and there should be a heavy enemy right there, a Shunga. I'll take care of all of the enemies first, and then take care of the Shunga. Need to keep my distance because it has the stupid EMP effect. Need some more distance, and there we go. And there we go, that was the last enemy. So we can move towards the next room. So yeah, from all of the escalation missions that I have done so far, I think maining, I wouldn't say it's not the hardest mission, but the issue is that the mission is way too long. And I mean, that's always a bad thing with, like, you have to deal with, I think it's 180 enemies, and the mission lasts like 35 minutes. So yeah, it's a bit of a tricky mission to do. By the way, I throw the overcharge decoy at the middle of the room to get the attention from all of the enemies, and I started from this side so that I could take care of the NPCs that usually spawn on the right side, the ones that can flank you. So yeah, let's see if I cannot shoot the LMG guy. Right, gonna focus on this one, and there should be another enemy spawn on to my left. So gonna be taking care of my line of sight so that the LMG guy doesn't damage me while I'll take care of the rest of the ads. And there's the other rat that I was looking for. I thought that was the last one. Didn't saw that enemy. Alright. There we go. So for next part, I don't want to be grabbing the... Well, let me check if I can grab the ammo from this place. Don't remember if there's like a certain point or invisible line that you have to cross to make the enemy spawn. Just check. There goes the trick. Let me empty my ammo thing, the LMG. Alright, perfect. That should work. So we can start running with our quick step equip, And right as we get close to that sign over here, the enemy should spawn. So we're gonna throw an overcharge decoy on the lower floor and fight over here. And use the frenzy LMG to try to take care of the enemies. I'm gonna prioritize the LMG guy. That's usually the most annoying enemy of the bunch. The rest of the NPCs are pretty easy to deal with. There's gonna be another enemy spawn right to my right. Let me see if I can take care. Alright, that's pretty good. There's an anchor right there. That's not good. Let me see if I can take cover from over here. And alright. I don't think he can see me from over here. No, never mind. That's the bad part about this mission. The lines of sight are way too open, so it becomes very difficult to try to like shoot an enemy, an anchor enemy, from a safe spot. So yeah. At least the good thing with the LMG guys is that if they don't see you for after a certain amount of time, you can pretty much just they'll move on their own, like I just did right there, like with that sign. So yep, that's the last enemy on this room that I need to take care of. Let's see if he shows his head. There we go. So for next part, I think I don't have enough LMG ammo, so I'm gonna go back to the box and restock my ammo. As usual, you can empty the LMG, and right as the animation is about to finish, you can open the ammo box, and that way you get the frenzy effect, so that you can empty the magazine the quickest way possible. So yeah. Now, with my ammo full, I'm gonna focus on running towards the access point. So I'm gonna be doing this. I'm gonna interact with the access point, and right as I finish the animation, I'm gonna start the frenzy reload. I'm gonna prioritize killing the enemies, and before they start circling me, I'm going to throw an overcharge decoy. Luckily that guy's not getting anchored just yet. So, there we go, and this is a perfect time to throw a decoy. You need to be really careful that the objective doesn't get destroyed, because I'm very sure that the escalation will finish if you get the objective destroyed, so we don't want that. And with increased damage, of course, it's gonna be pretty easy for them to destroy it, so yeah. You need to prioritize killing all of the enemies. Luckily there's so much distance between us that it's very difficult for the enemies to land a shot on us. I mean, it's not impossible, but there's a pretty decent amount of distance between us. So there's another one here. I can already see him. And let's throw a decoy. And there's more. There we go. That's the last one. I didn't realize I ran out of armor plates from the anchor LMG. Let's see if I can find some armor plates here. Not sure if that's an armor plate. Let me give it a quick check. That's an armor plate. Alright. I gotta need the armor plates because there's gonna be a room where I pretty much have to like rush from all the enemies and try to run to a safe place. But because some enemies can spawn with anchor, I need to make sure that I don't get down while I'm running. So I need to make sure that I don't waste that many armor plates before that room. It's the jungle room right after this boss fight. So yeah. So I'm gonna make sure that I have my LMG ready. And I'm gonna change my weapon to the Ravenous. This is the first boss that you can easily kill with the Ravenous blue primers. So, gonna drop an overcharge decoy right over there, and let's see what the game gave me. It's not an anchor grade, so I can probably kill him with just like the Frenzy LMG. If the enemy gets anchored, this guy pretty much need the blue primers from the Ravenous in order to destroy the armor plates of the boss without taking too much time. Luckily he didn't got that modifier, so I can just use the LMG Frenzy and brute force my way through the enemy armor plate, so yeah. That was that room. We get the rushers from here and from here, and we get the other enemies from the back of the room as you just saw, so yeah. And luckily I didn't waste any armor plates, nice. So we can start running towards the next room. So yeah, while I'm running for the next place, I'll really appreciate, guys, if you could like tell me like how could I improve with these videos. I saw that many of you like the commented runs. I could definitely start doing more of those runs. Doesn't matter like how hard or easy the mission is. And if you have like any other types of tips or tricks that might be useful for you, I can also like try to like make a video or mention it on my runs. But anyway, this is the room that I was talking about. What I'm gonna do is I'm pretty much gonna be rushing the enemies. Gonna throw a decoy over here and pretty much gonna be running towards the back of the room without getting shot by the enemies. Gotta make sure that I do this with the quick step equipped so I can get the fastest movement speed. I didn't want to use the overcharge decoy because I wanted to save it in case I got downed in the middle of my run. And then we can start taking on all the enemies from here. It's a pretty safe spot. We're going to be getting, I believe, two more enemy spawns from right here and one last enemy spawn from here. So I need to make sure that... Alright, there's two enemies left. I need to make sure that I have an overcharge decoy right over that door as I'm about to kill the last enemy from... I don't remember if this is this wave or if it's the next one. So yeah, let's see if it's this wave. Crap, he has anchor, couldn't kill him. All right, let's see if I can go here. Alright, it was the next one, so doesn't matter. We're gonna be taking care of the enemies. And after there's just one enemy left, or two, don't remember, there's gonna be more enemies spawning right behind me. So, need to make sure that I have a decoy ready right before that happens. Right, that's a decoy. Don't flag me, dude. Right, doesn't matter. Wanted to kill the LMG guy before getting ready for this position, but doesn't matter. Ideally, what I'll be doing is I'll wait right over here and then wait for the two enemy spawns and just take care of them from the safe spot. That's what I like about this position. I grabbed this strategy from one that just Toasty got on one of his videos, so yeah, shout out to Toasty for the strategy. And that's the last enemy spawn. Gonna be running right over here and take care of these enemies first. Yeah, the point of this strategy is that you don't want the enemy to take control of the turret. The problem of that is that that turret has a ridiculous line of sight of like pretty much all positions from this room, and yeah, the hitbox of the turret is also terrible, so we don't want that to happen. That's why we pretty much run to the back of the room and like take control of this place. So this is the last enemy that I need to take care of. I'm gonna be demonstrating with them. Never mind, he's dead. Alright. So, gonna be grabbing all my ammo, and there we go. For next part, I want to have Ravenous equip. There's another Chunga, another named Chunga, and that one is even more problematic than the previous one, so yeah. We're gonna be interacting with this laptop, and we're gonna wait for this door to open. This hallway that I'm gonna be running through, this is going to be like our backup place that we can run toward in case the enemy overwhelm us. In order for the enemy to not overwhelm us, what we're gonna do is we're gonna drop an overcharge decoy right nearby, try to hit the suicide bomber on the chest, and try to make sure that there's no NPCs right before the boss spawns. And right as the monorail arrives, we're gonna be taking care first of the NPCs. I have to see like how fast I can kill all the enemies, so if there's not any additional enemies that I have to take care of. Alright, this is the last enemy. No, there's one over here. Alright, that was the last NPC. So if you get to take care of all the NPCs, you can run towards the left side and just use Ravenous to destroy the armor plates of the boss. Just stack as many blue primers as possible and you will be getting a pretty powerful multiplicative bonus against the boss armor plates. And there we go, we pretty much killed him in no time. So yeah, in case you weren't able to kill all the NPCs, you will have to like run back over this hallway and try to like funnel all the enemies through there, including the boss. The strategy can get pretty annoying though, so I was pretty lucky that that didn't happen. I'm gonna make sure that I have my agitator equip, and there we go. Let's watch this cutscene that we cannot skip. Can't skip it. Been years since I tried to skip this cutscene. I almost forgot I cannot do that. So anyways, gonna be dropping an overcharge decoy to the right, and we're gonna be hiding behind this rock with our LMG ready. And we're gonna be taking care of all the enemies right here. As soon as there's one enemy left from the initial spawn, there's gonna be more enemies spawning from the door at the back of this room. So we gotta be careful. And that's wonderful. All the enemies are suppressed. Alright, let's see if I can flank them. At least one of them. The anchor one is okay. Alright, so there's the extra enemy spawn. Gotta make sure that you're in cover as the enemy spawns so that you don't get like torched by an anchor enemy. I was lucky that there was no anchor nearby. So yeah. And there we go. Gotta make sure that we fill our ammo for the next room. And keep our LMG ready for the frenzy reload. Like this. So right as we enter, we're gonna drop an overcharge decoy to the left side of the room, right where the NPC spawn, and we're gonna be hiding behind this rock right here. That should give us a pretty good line of sight from all the enemies. And also give us a pretty decent piece of cover to like be able to shoot down all the NPCs from the initial wave. And as usual, right as there's just one NPC left from the initial wave, we're gonna get an extra spawn of enemies we need to take care of. For that extra spawn, we're gonna be hiding right behind this door, this rock I mean, and yeah, it's not like an actual piece of cover, but that should block the line of sight of any enemy that's approaching us from that door. So yeah, and this room, so I'm gonna keep my LMG ready just in case for next room, and gonna reload my AR. And we can go to the next room. So we open this gate right here, and what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna drop an decoy, an overcharged one as usual, and I'm gonna start taking care of the NPCs. I'm gonna try to make sure that they don't destroy the decoys so that I'm able to like divert some of the fire from the enemies. And we're gonna try to climb towards the right side of the pool. That's an anchor, but there's no enemy nearby, so I'm safe. And I'm gonna have a frenzy ready because that's where the name enemy is gonna spawn. Usually spawns after a little bit, but I had to cross that invisible line to make it fun. If we stay over here, we can pretty much make the boss climb that rock right in front of us and should take a good chunk of his armor. But it will only take like half of the armor. So we pretty much have to like focus fire on the enemy while he's on like the backpack animation. Otherwise, we pretty much have to like damage trade with the boss. And it can get pretty tricky. Especially if the boss has anchor, but that wasn't the case, so that's good. Alright, this run is going pretty smooth so far, so yep. Next room should be the first monorail room. The one where Emmeline Shaw is gonna be shooting at you, so we're gonna be doing this. We're gonna be throwing another orchard decoy right at the center. We're gonna equip our quick step. And we're gonna be hiding right behind this wall, but without taking cover. That way, that should be hiding us from Emmeline's turrets. If we take cover, we're gonna be within her line of sight, and we're gonna receive damage. So we don't want that. We have to stay here, and we pretty much need to take care from all the NPCs from over here. Luckily they're all like yellows for the most part. Now for the next one, there's gonna be a rusher that spawns right on the back. That's the enemy that has the C4, so we're now gonna be running towards them, like we do on story mode. So we're gonna wait for Emmeline to stop shooting, and then and there we go. That should be safe. We take the C4 and place explosives. Alright, so last room. So there's gonna be 5 enemy spawns that we have to take care of. The first one is going to be one that features a yellow enemy, the one that leaves ammo. That's the enemy that's going to have the C4 charge. Normally, he will be running towards this hallway, but I don't know what he did, but he ran to the other side, so I now have to hunt him down so that I'm able to get his C4 charge. Wonderful. Let's see if I can get his attention. Right, that should be outside of Emmeline's line of sight. Damn, I never usually can get this part pretty quick. The enemy spawn is trash. Damn, this enemy spawn was complete trash. But yeah, usually you get this enemy to like just run from the hallway, and it's a pretty easy kill. You get a pretty safe position to like get the C4 charge. So yeah, the next enemy wave is gonna be spawning right as we grab the C4 charge. So we're gonna be doing this, and the enemy is gonna be spawning from right where. That's another bad part from having the C4 guy run so far away from us. He almost never does that. Almost. The safest strat here is just to like take care of each enemy wave and then put the C4 charge right as you kill everyone. That's the safest strat. So I'm gonna be doing this. I'm gonna put the C4 charge, and then I'm gonna make sure that I drop an overcharge decoy right in front of the next enemy spawn. Right here, and I'm gonna start reloading my Frenzy LMG. I could also like try to stay right in front of the door and try to kill all the enemies, but if I get even one of them with anchor, I'm dead. So yeah, this is the safest strat that you can use. And gonna be grabbing the next C4 charge for the next enemy spawn, which is from the same door. I believe there's only 3 NPCs per wave, per C4 wave, to be more specific. So yeah. So again, gonna keep my LMG ready. Gonna place explosive, and I'm gonna be running towards the next enemy spawn. Gonna throw a decoy right over there, and gonna start reloading my LMG. That should get the attention of both the NPCs and from Emily. And the last enemy wave, that was the last enemy wave right before the actual boss fight. So yeah, gonna make sure that I have an overcharge decoy ready, because I'm gonna be dropping it right over here. For Y8S Season 1, I definitely want the overcharge decoy. I'm gonna be dropping it over there, and I'm gonna be hiding from that place. We're gonna be running from the left side of the room. So yeah, just need to wait a little bit longer. And there we go. I can start putting explosives. Gonna drop the overcharge decoy, and gonna keep running. Need to be careful with some of the NPC spawns. And there we go. We got Emily to spawn right over there. So the problem with trying to kill Emmeline is that she gets some immunity stages, and usually we don't have enough DPS to be able to kill her. Oh damn, that was lucky. Normally I would suggest taking care of all the NPCs on the room first, and then trying to keep some distance with Emily as you slither away all her armor and health. But I was actually pretty lucky that she took so long to use her immunity. So it should be pretty quick and pretty easy. Even though I wasn't able to show you guys on this video, like, you really need to keep some distance from Emily. Once her armor drops to like 20 or 10%, she starts running and firing her flamethrower. So yeah, she can kill you pretty easily, and she won't give you any time to like revive yourself. So just keep that in mind. And that was pretty much maining National 2. So we're gonna interact with the Echo. Gonna make sure that I have the LMG in hand so that all the XP goes to the
¿Ves cómo nos
LMG and
vigila
not
la mamá osa?
towards the
Se asegura
pistol.
de que no vayamos a hacerle daño a su bebé. Es lo que hacen las madres.
Gonna wait for that mission completion.
Estamos viendo una
And there we
movilización
go.
enemiga en
As
dos
I said,
frentes. Espero que estén listos
all
para la
the XP
batalla.
that you get from an escalation will go to whatever weapon you're holding. So all the XP went to my LMG, but my pistol got pretty much no XP towards the Ackman progress. So yeah, that was maining National 2. Again, I don't think it's the hardest mission in the game, but it's way too long. I think there's better missions to like farm either completion rewards or farm prototype gear, and this is not one of those missions. So yeah, I wouldn't really advise like trying to farm this mission unless there was like strikers or something like that, or LMGs. So yeah, gonna be waiting for all the disclaimers to disappear so I can show you the final result screen. And there we go. So that was mainly National 2, 34 minutes, 171 enemies on solo. So see you in the next video, guys. Thank you.